Forests hold a unique serenity and beauty that makes them one of the best places for our leisure. However, when entering a forest, one must be cautious, as a few steps might lead you to a highly dangerous tree that you aren't even aware of its existence. Indeed, some trees, contrary to your expectations and their outward charm, can be highly perilous. Touching or even getting close to these trees could be lethal. Greetings to everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today, we are delving into the world of trees, exploring 5 of the most dangerous trees on Earth. I would greatly appreciate your support, so if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, please make sure to do so. Without further ado, let's dive right in. Manchineel tree. The manchineel tree, known as the Tree of Death, inhabits coastal regions of the Caribbean, Florida, and parts of Central and South America. Despite its inviting facade with glossy leaves and small greenish fruit, it conceals a deadly secret. Every aspect of this tree, from its leaves to its fruit and sap, contains a mixture of toxins, including phorbol and other harmful irritants. Even seeking shelter under its branches during rain can lead to manchineel dermatitis, a painful skin condition caused by the sap. This sap is so corrosive that it can result in severe chemical burns on contact with the skin. Ingesting any part of this tree can prove lethal, leading to symptoms like gastroenteritis, convulsions, and, in extreme cases, death. According to historical reports, Spanish explorers used the sap of this tree to poison their arrows and contaminate the water sources of their enemies. Strychnine tree. If you see this tree closely, you might think that it is one of the citrus fruits, and it can be delicious. But if you peel one of the fruits of this tree, you will quickly notice its strange appearance. Of course, I hope you don't try this fruit out of curiosity, because you will most likely lose your life. The name of this tree is strychnine, and in fact, strychnine is a very strong and deadly poison that is all over this tree. If enough of this poison enters the body, it can cause involuntary skeletal and muscle movement, which is very scary. Imagine not having any control over your body and your bones moving by themselves. And in the end, he died due to suffocation. This tree is found in India and usually in Southeast Asia, but this tree is not useless at all and has an interesting story in the past. In the distant past, this tree was one of the reasons that limited the spread of the plague. As you know, rats used to transmit the plague, and the rats would die by eating these fruits, and thus the spread of the plague would slow down. Even today, this tree and its fruits are mostly used to kill mice. Hura Crepitans. I don't think it's necessary to say not to touch this terrifying tree after seeing its appearance, but I still want to warn you, only touch it if you want your fingers to have holes. This terrifying tree's habitat is in tropical and southern regions of the United States. It has an interesting nickname, monkey no climb, which makes sense. The bark of this tree is covered in sharp, thick thorns measuring 2.5 centimeters long. But the story doesn't end there. In addition to these thorns, this tree produces an incredibly toxic sap that can cause severe burns. If this sap enters a person's eyes, it will likely blind them. From its appearance, it's clear that this tree doesn't joke around. However, you might wonder why it's so aggressive. Well, this tree wants to protect its fruit. The fruits of this tree resemble small, lazy squash. The dangers of this tree don't end with its thorns and toxic sap. When the fruit fully ripens, it falls from the tree and explodes upon impact with the ground, scattering its seeds at a speed of 241 kilometers per hour. The impact of these seeds on a human can be extremely dangerous, and this fruit essentially works like a grenade. This way, the tree disperses its own seeds around it and reproduces. You might find it hard to believe, but according to some reports, the sound of these fruits exploding is almost equivalent to the sound of a gunshot. Before we move on to the next tree, we've gained nearly 1,000 subscribers. So I'd be very happy if you haven't already subscribed to the channel. Please do it now because you're showing great support for me, and it motivates me to create more and better videos. Alright, the next tree on our list is called brugmansia. At first glance, this tree with its beautiful hanging flowers appears to be quite attractive, and it's considered an ornamental plant. Many people like to have it in their homes in pots, not realizing that this plant is one of the most toxic things you can keep in a pot, and its poison can be extremely lethal to both humans and animals. In the wild, brugmansia can grow up to 6 meters in length, and contact with this plant can lead to the development of anticholinergic syndrome. In a nutshell, if we were to explain this syndrome, it causes complete paralysis in the affected person. This plant is so dangerous that scientists, when studying it, wear special protective clothing. The poison of this plant can induce hallucinations, both visual and auditory. However, these are not pleasant hallucinations. In 2006, someone brewed a tea from this plant, and as a result, he was rushed to the hospital. He had severe hallucinations, and he had mutilated his fingers and genitals, which is truly horrifying. So, it's best not to be tempted to test the tea from this plant. Before we move on to the final tree, if you've watched the video up to this point, please don't forget to like it. Alright, our last tree is the pisonia. Birds really like to build nests on the branches and leaves of this tree. The reason is that this tree looks dense and a good place to live. However, that's not the case at all, and there's something terrifying and strange about this tree. Like many other trees, this tree has enlisted animals to help spread its seeds. It releases sticky seeds, and these seeds adhere to birds. But the catch is that these seeds are incredibly sticky and not easily removed. Sometimes more than 200 of these seeds can stick to the birds, making it impossible for them to fly and ultimately leading to their death. It's not clear why this tree does this, and even botanists have no answer to this question. According to studies, the death of birds doesn't benefit this tree in any way, and perhaps in the distant past, this tree needed to hunt birds, or it's just a playful quirk of evolution in nature. And that's it for the 5 of the most dangerous trees in the world. Thank you for staying with me throughout this video. If you enjoyed this video and like this type of content, please let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button so we can quickly move on to the next part. We're not too far from reaching 1,000 subscribers, so if you haven't already subscribed to the channel, I'd be thrilled if you did it now. Thank you for watching the video all the way to the end, and I'll see you in the next video.